folks in? We'll bring those folks in before we start.
At least they're not going to yell at us.
What's that?
They're not going to yell at us.
No, probably not.
Have you studied that?
Okay, folks, I would like to welcome you to the April the 8th County Council meeting. We will start off with an invocation by Kevin Hamilton of Harvester Christian Church, who is also our Sheriff's Department's lead chaplain, which we appreciate your service to the county for doing that. And then the Pledge of Allegiance by Dave Hammond. Please stand.
Pray with me. Oh God in heaven, I pray that your great blessing would be on this community, the very families that weave us together. God, I pray that you would watch over today and the weeks to come. I pray for this meeting. God, I pray that decisions would be easy with a common direction, a common view of our county that will come from you. Thank you for your great provision. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Joe Cronin.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Brazel. Councilmember Dave Hammond.
Here.
Councilmember Terry Hollander.
Here.
Councilmember Mike Klinghammer.
Here.
Councilmember John White.
Here.
Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion that we adjust the agenda to move the consent agenda first. Do I have
So
a motion?
moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So first thing, are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to remove the transportation bid for discussion.
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
Do we need a second? Do we have a second on it?
Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that item will be removed at this point. Anything else? I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
So moved.
Okay. Second? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr.
Want to
Cronin.
discuss it now?
Let's discuss it and then we'll
Okay.
get Mr. Elam going here.
Mr. Greifsuk, if you wouldn't mind, I just have a couple quick questions. Most of these contracts I just kind of, skimmed over, but this one I kind of caught my eye on a couple things. I saw quite a few different corridors getting removed from the project, and is that being removed from this particular contract, or is that getting removed from the entire Gateway Green Lake project? Specifically, they had all 5 interchanges on Page removed. Route N at Deerbergs and Snooks, Kings Highway from West Claim to Elm, and they were scratched off the contract. Or is that just not part of this contract, or is that completely out of the project now?
No, it will be part of the overall project. What occurred on that is when we submitted the application for the congestion mitigation air quality funds, we had there's 5 corridors that we had included. Mm-hmm. Those were scratched because that work is actually going to be performed by someone else.
Okay.
Like on the Page corridor, MoDOT actually is going to enter into an agreement this summer for that, so there's no reason to pay for it twice.
Okay.
West Clay, the City of St. Charles applied for our county road board project. They're going to actually do some work on West Clay, so they're going to do that signal opposition.
Okay. And then the only other thing that I was going to ask you, and I trust you, you'll do this as well. I noticed a lot of stuff on these contracts, like these were basically 4 local contractors, but there's a lot of hotel expense in this. There's we're paying them roughly 150% for overhead, yet they're charging us for travel time, and their overhead does include automobile expense. So I would just ask that, so somehow through your office, I'm assuming you have some type of oversight to make sure these guys are charging us what they should be charging us.
Yes, we'll watch that closely, and it's the contract is a budget item of X number of nights per diem, and that's primarily focused into about 1 or 2 key individuals with GBA SI. They have some folks that are in Lenexa and up in Quad City area, and I think some up in Chicago, that specialize in these signal communication networks. And so they're going to pull on some of those national resources and bring them in during some key parts of the testing of the infrastructure and getting it up and running for us.
Okay, so you're good with all this then? You're good with this, the contract, the way it's written?
Yes, we'll watch it very closely.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, I need a motion to approve the item that was taken off the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, one of the things that was approved in the consent agenda was the nomination of Mike Elam to fill the vacancy in the District 3 that was vacated by Nancy Matheny. So our next order of business is to allow Mike to be sworn into office and to join us here. So if you will stand up here and we will have a little swearing in ceremony.
I, Mike Elam, do hereby swear that I possess all qualifications to carry out the duties of the office of St. Charles County Council, District 3, as set forth by the Charter of St. Charles County, and that I am not subject to any disqualifications in the Charter. I solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of County Council and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Missouri, and the Charter of St. Charles County, and that I will demean myself faithfully in the office of County Council, so help me God, for the remainder of the term, Nancy Matheny, who resigned effective March 11th, 2013, to which I was appointed. Sworn to this on the 8th day of April, 2013.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
For those in attendance and also for those at home, this was a somewhat historic measure. This was the first time that this procedure has been followed in St. Charles County. There was an ordinance passed by the voters in November that allows the county executive to appoint with the approval of the council when there is a district vacancy. This, of course, is in lieu of a special election. And Mike, of course, will serve District 3 for the next 18 months to the next election. Am I correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. And of course, that we've had in the past several years 3 of those special elections, which, as you know, are quite expensive.
Yes.
So this is a good thing, I believe, and Mike's going to prove it's a good thing.
And we welcome you. All right, next on the agenda is a public hearing on the Ellerman Oaks Road Neighborhood Improvement District. Is there anyone here to speak on that district? Seeing none, I close that public hearing. And the next one is a public hearing on the Rose Hill Road Neighborhood Improvement District. Is there anyone here to comment on that? Seeing none, we now will open it up for public comment. And this will allow anyone in the audience to speak on any issue. Reminder, 3 minutes is the limit, and we will only entertain 6 total responses or comments on the same subject. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment during public comment session? Mr. Enoff.
Good evening, members of the County Council. I just wanted to take a moment to welcome Mr. Elam, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
You did, thank you.
I hope to work with you and work with you on some county issues and make our county a better place. So welcome you, and thanks for stepping up to the plate and taking this on.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, I wish that you would have heard my comments because they were with the traffic light management system that we're spending over $8 million worth. As you know, I'm a big proponent of spending in St. Charles County and keeping our tax dollars here, keeping our businesses open, and trying to employ and foster better economic development and better business here in St. Charles County. For the traffic green light program, we're spending over $8 million, $8.2 million. And the two bids that the county sought were from GBA Systems LLC out of Lenexa, Kansas, and the other one was Parsons Brinkerhoff Incorporated out of St. Louis. And so the question that I asked the county council is why didn't we keep the money here at home? After further review and looking at further details, the Lenexa company is employing EDSI out of Chesterfield, BLA Corporation out of St. Louis as a subcontractor, GBA out of O'Fallon, Missouri, and SCI Engineering out of St. Charles. So there's at least there's some type of trying to get back here in St. Charles County and keep the monies here. But my biggest stumbling block is why did we go with GBA Systems versus Parson Brinkerhoff out of St. Louis? That'd be my first question. And we're spending $8,822,000 on this project. And I know it's a combination of the half-cent sales tax, mitigation from federal funds, and traffic highway funds. But what is the guarantee that we're going to solve the traffic problems and traffic boggles or traffic delays? You know, it's spending a lot of money, but I'd like to see some type of guarantee for taxpayers when we're going to spend over $8 million, close to $9 million, that there's some type of guarantee. And I haven't heard anybody say exactly how this plan is going to be and what type of guarantees we have in place. We're going to spend a lot of taxpayer money, but we need to have that guarantee. Those are my comments, and I appreciate it. I wish they would have been heard before the voting of this. But I really think what I'd like to drive home is I do with everything. When we buy vehicles, when we buy supplies, and when we purchase professional services, we need to keep it right here in St. Charles County. Thank you.
Is there any other comments on this particular issue? Seeing none, is there anyone else who wishes to comment on any other subject or any other topic? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the oral report from our county executive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually thought the first order of business for me would be to sell Mr. Elam, but it sounds like he did a good job of selling himself. And appreciate the fact that you've approved him. Mike spoke to me, 2 or 3 years ago, and expressed an interest in this seat if it was ever open. So he's got a great, I would say he doesn't have a lot of political experience, but he's got a lot of great experience as a leader in the community. And I'm looking forward to working with him, Mr. Chairman. I've got two proclamations, or actually three. Let me read the first one. This is for Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas the St. Charles County Council has the privilege of recognizing local organizations for their contributions to the community and their ability to improve the quality of life for our citizens, and whereas the Child Center, Inc. is a not-for-profit organization whose mission statement is responding to child abuse through a supportive team approach to reduce the trauma to children and their non-offending family members by healing, helping, and hope. And whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community responsibility affecting both the current and future quality of life of a community, and whereas child maltreatment occurs when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and do not know how to cope, and whereas the majority of child abuse cases stem from situations and conditions that are preventable in an engaged and supportive community, and whereas child abuse and neglect can be reduced by making sure each family has the support they need to raise their children in a healthy environment. And whereas child abuse and neglect not only directly harms children, but also increases the likelihood of criminal behavior, substance abuse, health problems such as heart disease and obesity, and risky behavior such as smoking. And whereas all citizens should become involved in supporting families and raising their children in a safe, maturing, nurturing environment. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among social service agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Steve Ellman, St. Charles County Executive, hereby call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in an effort to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the communities in which we live.
Thank you.
I believe there's someone here to accept.
Please, please come forward.
I want to thank you for all that you do.
Thank you very much for the proclamation.
Thank you. Second proclamation, National Telecommunicators Week. Whereas St. Charles County government has the privilege of recognizing certain professions for their outstanding contribution to the community and their ability to protect the quality of life for our citizens, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of law enforcement, fire, and emergency medical personnel is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property, and whereas the safety of deputies, police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the 911 system, and whereas the 911 system is made up of 7 public safety answering points within St. Charles County and manned by public safety dispatchers, and whereas the public safety dispatchers are the first and most critical contact citizens have with emergency services, often providing life-saving instructions before the arrival of first responders. And whereas the sophisticated county region-wide radio system will require all dispatchers to gain new skills and knowledge in complex techniques and procedures in order to effectively guide first responders to our citizens, and whereas each dispatcher must undergo continuing and rigorous training to maintain state certification, and further, that each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Steve Ellman, in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep this county and its citizen safe, hereby declare April 14th through the 20th National Telecommunicators Week in St. Charles County.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think Bob Watts is here to accept for the telecommunicators. Bob, thanks for everything you do. Mr. Chairman, the last proclamation here is one I've been looking forward to, and I would ask the women's basketball team from Lutheran High School St. Charles to please come up and line up across the front of the room here, and their coaches and Mr. Bernard as well. We want to make sure that you all get on TV, okay? So there's the eye in the sky is back there, okay? I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation, and as I do, why don't you step forward and let everybody know, who's who. And Mr. Chairman, I'm sure you, more than any of the rest of us, know how tough it is to win a state tournament in basketball.
And it's life-altering.
I'm sure it's something that you all are going to remember the rest of your life, and it's certainly a privilege for me to do this. My son is a student, as you know, at the school, and some of you, I think, were in school with him all 12 years, and I know that we got some good folks here and some good players, and I just want to offer my personal congratulations as I read the proclamation. Whereas St. Charles County is pleased to honor the achievements of the Lutheran St. Charles High School girls basketball team in its winning season of 2013 and its capture of the Class 3 state championship, and whereas the members of Lutheran High School Cougars championship team are Meg Darrington, Savannah Kleesner, Madison Knobloch, Hannah Lapine, Ruthie Mackey, Nicole Masters, Lauren Orr, Claire Shadle, Jessica Skirston, Katie Umbach, Carly Van Dalen, and Natalie Weinhold, who were led through their successful season by head coach Aaron Paulk and assistant coaches Kayla Marty, Dave Viviano, and Ann Whitty. And whereas the team received abundant support from Lutheran St. Charles High School Principal John Bernhardt, Executive Director David Schlusselman, Activities Director Doug Kuhlman, and managers Liz Lurch and Mason Veith, as well as parents, students, cheerleaders, and fans. And whereas the Cougars won the Missouri Class 3 District 4 Championship, went on to play in the state championship finals, and finished the season with an impressive 28 wins and 4 losses. And whereas in the team's last game of 2013 against Cameron High School at the Mizzou Arena in Columbia, Missouri on Saturday, March 9th, 2013, by a score of 80-67, the Lutheran High School Cougars became the Class 3 Girls State Basketball Championships of Missouri. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Steve Ellman, on behalf of St. Charles County government, do hereby recognize and congratulate the 2013 Missouri State Class 3 Girls Basketball Championship team, the Lutheran St. Charles High School Cougars. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Say a few words, and perhaps your coach as well.
Mr. Ellman and members of the County Council, I want to thank you for the opportunity to recognize these young ladies. I am proud to present them to you. They were a fine model for what we expect at Lutheran High School, and I think what you would expect out of St. Charles County. So at this time, I want to invite Aaron Paulk to come forward, the head basketball coach, to say a few words.
I just want to say thanks again. It is an honor for us to be here and to recognize these guys for all of their accomplishments. A great group of kids, an interesting bunch for sure. They're a lot of fun, absolutely. I enjoyed coaching them every single day. A lot of them have been playing basketball together for years. You know, a great group. We got seniors, we got freshmen, we got juniors, we got sophomores, a nice mix of them. But it was a fun ride for us. We enjoyed every minute of it. It wasn't easy all the time. You know, we were winning games by 3-4 points, overtime games, but we had a lot of ups and a lot of great moments this season, and I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud to be their coach. I'm an alumni, you know, at Lutheran High School, so I have a lot of pride in LHS and what we stand for and what we do, both, you know, from an educational standpoint and athletics as well. And so it's just a huge honor for us to be able to bring this back to St. Charles, and I'm just so proud of these guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I also have individual copies, and you'll make sure the right people, everybody gets the right one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Any comments from the council?
Well, I just want to congratulate you girls, and as County Executive Ellman mentioned, you know, about 18 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be in the same spot you're in right now, and it's, I guarantee you, not a week will go by in the next 20 years where you won't think about it. It's that life altering. So, congratulations, and we're very, very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next on the agenda is our bills for introduction. So I think we start off with bill number 3957.
Bill number 3957, request by Charles Fellman, sponsored by Terry Hollander. An ordinance accepting plans and specifications, ordering the improvements be made, setting forth a proposed assessment roll, and authorizing interim financing for the road improvements for the Rose Hill Estates Road Neighborhood Improvement District.
Okay. Bill number 3957. Any comments, questions on the Rose Hill Estates NID? Seeing none, let's move on to Bill number 3958.
Bill number 3958, request by Charles Fellman, sponsored by Joe Brazel, an ordinance accepting plans and specifications, ordering the improvements be made, setting forth a proposed assessment roll, and authorizing interim financing for the road improvements for the Ellerman Oaks Road Neighborhood Improvement District.
Questions or comments on Bill 3958?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to get a little education from Mr. Fellman on this a little bit, if it's okay, just for my own personal educational goals, okay? I know a little bit about NIDS, but I wanted to know a little bit more on these particular ones. Generally, like this one, the small one is 400 grand roughly. Is that generally where you guys start? Because I've had people in my district are asking me about NIDS, and I don't know how small a project that you guys go to.
No, actually, we've gone down to very small projects that have affected one or two properties. As long as it is a public improvement and meets the standards of St. Charles County, we can do them.
And when you do smaller projects, do you just kind of group bunches of those together till you have enough to do bond issues, or how do you do that there?
Yes, sir. We'll do the individual projects as they come up. We may not go out for bonds until we have enough to make it reasonable for cost. In fact, right now we have one existing NID, and when we complete these two, we will then bundle those for a bond issue of about $1 million.
Okay. And I guess two other questions. One would be, if the property owners, for instance, on these two NIDs, do they have the option of buying out? Instead of doing over 20 years, can they say, look, I'll pay you that lump sum so I don't have that debt over my head?
Yes, sir.
They do.
When the project is completed and is accepted by St. Charles County, the property owners are given the option to pay a lump sum, their proportionate cost. If they do that by the 90-day deadline, they're done. If they don't, they're automatically enrolled in the assessment roll. From the time the assessment roll is established, the individual property owners can still pay it off if they wished, but they would have to pay all the interest charges for the whole 20 years.
Okay. And then I guess lastly is the cost on these for construction costs can vary some, and I'm assuming the bond rate could, the interest rate could too, because I know some of these that were 6% and muni bonds are a lot less than that right now.
That is correct. For the purpose of estimating the cost of the project, and under the state law, we must give the district a firm estimate, which cannot be exceeded by more than 25%. So what we do is estimate high on our cost. We estimated the bond, the selling of the bonds at 4% and the bond interest rate at 6%, although it has always come in much lower than that. And it's the actual amount that we sold the bonds for, the final assessment roll.
And I've learned people are much happier if you give them a high bid and it comes in lower than a low bid and it comes in higher, so I think you're smart doing that.
I always joke that if we come in over budget, everybody wants to know who made a mistake. And if I come in under budget, I'm a hero, so I like being a hero.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've worked around those a little bit as an alderman, but I wanted to know how the county did that specifically, and that'll help me answer questions in my district, so I appreciate your
My
time.
pleasure, and anytime we can help you, just call on us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions on Bill number 3958? Okay, seeing none, please read Bill number 3959.
Bill number 3959, request by Craig Tykowski, sponsored by council as a whole, an ordinance establishing new traffic regulations and establishing penalties for violations thereof.
Questions or comments on 3959? Seeing none, please read Bill number 3960.
Bill number 3960, request by Hope Woodson, sponsored by Terry Hollander, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a memorandum of understanding in conjunction with the Core Public Health Functions contract for fiscal year 2012 with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for services to residents of St. Charles County and receipt of funds across fiscal years 2012 through 2015.
Questions or comments on this bill? Okay, seeing none, please read Bill 3961.
Bill number 3961, request by Craig Tchaikovsky, sponsored by council as a whole, an ordinance granting permission for the continued short-term use of public streets, roads, highways, and public places in St. Charles County for the purpose of furnishing electric and gas power and energy to county residents.
Questions or comments? Yes, Mike?
Yeah, Craig, could you briefly tell us what's actually changing in this? Because, you know, obviously we've been using right-of-ways for easements for a long time, but I didn't understand exactly what's changing.
Well, with this, nothing is really changing. This just kind of extends the deadline for what franchise agreements we had in place, and we only had a couple of those in place. Those were set to expire, and as we're working on new agreements with the new language, you know, then we'll bring those to you and to get those implemented.
What types of things would be covered under the new language as opposed to just continuing what we've been doing for quite a few years?
I'm going to have to defer to the acting county counselor. This is a legal issue that he's been dealing with quite extensively, and he probably is better suited to answer that than I am.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Klinghammer, there are, we think, a couple of different ways to go about this. We could simply renegotiate franchise agreements with only the couple of entities that we have had them in place with historically, and or we could come up with ordinances to cover the terms under which they can use the rights of way that would be more consistent for everyone. And we do intend to come to the council to discuss those options along with the administration to see which way the county as a whole wants to go.
Mr. Chairman, we are going to be in a negotiation here, so I don't want to get into too great a detail. Obviously, before anything is decided or signed or anything, we'll have to bring it to you for your approval and possibly even have closed sessions along the way.
We understand.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions on 3961?
Just one comment. Sure. Time is money. Okay, so I mean, if you extend it for 90 days, that's 90 days less revenue that we can bring in. Okay. I'm sorry.
We don't get any revenue right now. That's part of the problem. Maybe you can explain that.
I don't want to. You know, I mean, I just. Okay. I mean, what I'm saying is, the quicker it's done, the quicker the revenue.
Most of the cities have franchise fees. We do not. So there's just a whole lot of issues.
All right. There are no tabled bills, so we need to take a look at any announcements or miscellaneous. Seeing none, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you.